Despite these clear constitutional provisions, non-membership or non-support of the ruling National Resistance Movement, NRM, is, in the GDP's assessment, increasingly treated by state organs as inherently suspect. Political leaders and citizens exercising their convictions are criminalized, labeled as national security threats, and subjected to systematic bias across public life. Enforced disappearances and drone abductions. Since November 2020 and continuing throughout the 2021 up to 2026 electoral cycle, the JDP has recorded an ongoing pattern of state-linked abductions. Operatives in plain clothes or military attire driving unmarked minibuses, popularly known as drones, have seized opposition supporters, campaign organizers, polling agents, and civic activists from streets and homes. The pattern typically follows 3 stages. The first stage is capture. Interception by unmarked drones operated by armed personnel. The second stage is concealment. Transport to ungazetted safe houses, popularly known as basements, military CMI facilities, or secret island locations. The third stage is denial of rights. Incommunicado detention, severe physical torture, and denial of legal and medical access. Subversion of the 48-hour rule and ungazetted detention. Article 23(4) breach. Suspects are held for weeks, months, or even years without being charged before competent court in a direct violation of the mandatory 48-hour constitutional limit. Proliferation of safe houses. Victims are held in ungazetted locations nationwide, where families, legal counsel, and human rights inspectors are denied access.
The public wants to feel the commission. My colleagues I know will tell you, the public perception is that the commission has not been responsive to the issues of human rights violations. That's the public perception, and I belong to the public. Now, whether they are right or wrong, that is the perception. Now, if we are to collectively make a case for availing resources to the Human Rights Commission, then the public should be at the forefront of making that case. But this public that feels they are not being properly served may not make that case. I want to humbly plead with you, Chairperson and the team, to ensure that you assuage the public perception.
Honestly, when the colleague Elias Lukwago was abducted, at least we saw a tweet in Pampers. It was so bad, but at least we said he's somewhere. Somewhere is where we want. We are now asking, where is Muwanga Kivumbi? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he detained? Is he in the basement? Where is he? Because it was unique that wasn't actually picked from his home. For us, when we are from our homes, we labor the cameras show where we are. This time around, it was on a roadblock that I believe is illegally there, manned by police officers.
Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi, again, I learned that I think his family filed that application in court. We call it habeas corpus. Yes. And I think that took us out of jurisdiction. But again, that does not prevent us from engaging. We will continue to engage. This is a matter of concern to every human rights defender, and I think to every Ugandan. So we shall continue to engage. And now that you are our key stakeholder, we will share with you whatever information we will have found.